Hey guys, okay, so we're gonna start out with our warm-up for our strength day, okay? We're just gonna have 4 exercises here today. Shouldn't take too long to get you into the handstand portion. The first exercise we're gonna be doing, standing on our feet, we're gonna be doing some arm circles. Very easy to do. First, with just one single arm, you're gonna do 5 arm circles forward, and then 5 arm circles to the other side, and then 5 arm circles backward. After you do 5 and 5 forward and back on each arm, you'll do 10 forward and 10 back with both arms together, all right? We'll do that first. 5 forward, nice, easy, consistent swing, and other side, and backwards, and 5 back. Now 10 forward, and 10 back. Good. Okay, now we're going to move down to the ground. You're going to get down onto your knees, and we're going to do what's called a wrist up. All right? This is kind of deceivingly challenging, so it's going to look a little bit easier than it actually is. We're going to go through 2 different variations. The first one is just going to be from our knees, hands down on the ground, shoulder width apart, find his middle finger to the outside of our shoulder. And what we're going to try to do here is drive our fingertips down into the ground and lift our palms off the ground. Now the ascent and the descent are both important here, so I want you to make sure that you're controlling the action from top to bottom. I want to see 10 reps. Don't allow your fingertips to come off the ground. As much of a range as you can get through here, keeping the elbows locked out and the shoulders directly up over your hands. 10 full reps. Good. After 10 reps, sit back on your heels, hands clasping together. Let's just roll out our wrists. Version 2 is going to be similar, except you're going to be from a full plank. Knees off the ground, except the way we're going to do this one is with a slight shift. So you're going to shift to the side and then lift the hand off the ground. Shift to the side and lift the hand off the ground. Let's do 5 on each side. Shift as far as you can go where you can keep the elbow locked out. Fingers are again staying in contact with the ground. Okay, one more time, we'll roll out the wrists. Shake them out. Okay, now from here we're going to get into cat seal position, all right? So the first one will be cat stretch. From your knees, reaching the hands out in front. We're going to try to drive the armpits down towards the ground, equal pressure on both shoulders, trying to get your hips nice and high. We'll hold it for about 10 seconds. Drive those shoulders down. You can shift the weight from side to side, nice and easy. Hips up in the air. Now version 2, we're going to shift the weight over to one side, drive the elbow into the ground, bend that elbow and bring the hand back between our scapula. Here, bend that elbow, hand back between your scapula, drive that side down into the ground with the bent arm. And shifting to the opposing side. Good. Sit up. You should feel a really nice lat and tricep stretch. If you're doing it correctly, make sure that the weight is actually on the side of the arm that's bent, okay, not in the opposing side. Seal stretch. So from that cat stretch, we'll lean forward. Now I want your shoulders to be directly up over your hands. Sink the hips down towards the ground. Your arms should be like pillars holding up your body. You can shift the weight from side to side. Open up those abs, open up those hip flexors. Should feel like a really good stretch all the way through the body. Okay, now we're going to do from here, we're actually going to become a little bit more aware of our lower half. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what my body is doing. So from here, what we were just doing is a seal position where we were not really too cognizant, too aware of what was happening with our lower half. So we're just sinking the heels down, the hips down towards the ground. Now we're going to do an active seal where we're bringing the heels together. We're going to drive our hands down towards the ground, still staying in an arch position, eyes staying forward, but now only our hands and feet are in contact with the ground. We'll hold this for 10 full seconds. Try and keep those heels together as tight as you possibly can. And down. It's really important to make sure we understand lower half engagement. As soon as we get upside down, there's going to be a huge disconnect between what you think is happening in reality. So by doing an exercise like that where you're horizontal rather than vertical, it'll give you a little bit of an easier ability to keep those legs together. Last thing we're going to do is a lay down sequence. Okay? 3 stretches here. First one will be stomach down to the ground, arms perpendicular, and you're going to roll over to one side first. Keep that arm underneath your body. Use your opposing shoulder as a little bit of a guide to get more weight on top of that arm. You'll feel a nice pec stretch, a nice bicep tendon stretch, front part of that shoulder. Move around within the stretch. Everyone's different in terms of where they're flexible, where they're tighter. And go ahead and roll to the opposing side. Good. Okay, 2 more. Turning over onto your back. Let's cross the leg over. So I want to see left leg crossing the body. Grab the left knee with your right hand. Pull it up towards your chest and then down towards the ground. Opposing hand perpendicular again to your body. Do your best to keep both shoulders down flat on the ground. And switch. Nice consistent breath throughout the exercises, guys. Don't feel like you need to hold your breath at all. Good. Okay, last one is going to be internal external rotation for our shoulder. So again, back onto our stomach. We'll take our right arm, put it underneath your body. You're going to bend the elbow at 90 degrees. And you're going to grab that opposing wrist, the one that's off the ground, with your other hand. And I want you to try to keep that elbow at 90 degrees. So you'll bring the hand down towards the ground on that external side. You should be able to touch the ground no problem. And then from there, you'll keep it at 90 and bring the hand down to the ground on the internal side. And you should start feeling a good stretch on the back side of that shoulder. Work within that range, back and forth. Hand down to the ground on the external side. Nice stretch on the internal side. Don't put too much pressure there, just nice and easy. Take your time rocking back and forth. A good 5 reps on each direction will be enough. Okay, switch arms. Last stretch here. Same thing, bending at 90. Grab that wrist. Hand down to the ground on the external side. And you can make this more challenging by rolling that top shoulder more on top of your body, top of that arm. Keeping that elbow at 90 degrees the whole time, nice and perpendicular to your body. All right. All right, guys, that's our warm-up. Let's get into our exercises. Hey guys, welcome to day 1, week 1 of our Monkey Method Handstand Foundations. We're going to get started. We got 3 exercises for you today, and we're going to have some scaling options for each one. We're going to have Sophie demonstrate and Kat demonstrate some of our scaling options. The first one is going to be starting off from a plank position. We're going to be doing some shifting action from side to side to really start understanding how to get the weight to go from one side of the shoulder to the other properly and really initiating the movement from the shoulders. So the first scaling option, if this is fairly new for you, will be off of your knees. So we're going to cut down that lever a little bit so it's a little bit easier, not as much weight going onto those shoulders. Hands will be shoulder width apart, fingertips facing directly forward. Shoulders will stay directly up over your hands. And essentially what we're going to be thinking about doing here is just shifting the weight over from side to side. That will be exercise number 1. And then the second version here will be with a shift, and then your hand will come off the ground, touch the same shoulder, and then back down on the ground. Perfect, all right? Sophie, let's see second variation here. This one will be from a full plank. So instead of on your knees, full plank position, nice and hollow from shoulders down through feet. Feet will be separated to give you a little bit more stability within that position. Same exercise here, shifting over, trying to keep that elbow nice and locked out throughout the entire exercise. Shifting over, and let's see one with that shoulder touch on each side as well. And back to the opposing side. Awesome. So that's what we're basically going to be doing. The third variation that I'm going to be showing here in the middle is from a full plank with my feet together. This will be the most challenging of the 3 scaling options. And the rep scheme is going to look like this. You're going to do shift, shift 3 times, staying in that same plank, and then you'll do a shift with the shoulder touch, as you saw from the ladies, 3 times as well. So it'll be a total of 6 reps, and then we'll do that 3 times. There'll be an ample amount of rest between each round. All right, let's get into position here. Figure out what scaling option is right for you, and we'll get started. We'll start on the right-hand side. Nice hollow position to start. Here we go. And shift, no hold, right to the opposing side. Nice, consistent pace. Don't feel like you need to rush at all. That's 2, 1 more. And now shift and touch. Shift and touch. Shift and touch. Keep that rhythm going. 1 more rep. And down. Good. Nice and easy. Day 1, week 1, it's really just understanding the positions more than it's about fatiguing you. Like I said, rest as much as you need here. Really understand that the initiation of this movement needs to be coming from the shoulders and not the hips. All right, your hips will go along with the rest of the movement, but don't feel like you're swaying from the hips. Make sure the shoulders are doing the work here. All right, shake the arms out. And we'll get right into that second round here. Back into position, nice hollow, and let's do it. Shifting to the right and bringing it back. Elbows staying locked out throughout. 1 more time. Shift and touch. Shift and touch. Keep that action going. 1 more on each. And down. Excellent work, guys. Really warming up those wrists, being able to be nice and mobile within that wrist position is going to be critical as we get into some of the more higher level exercises. One of the other things that I hope that you're noticing here is that as I'm shifting and as we're getting that weight off of one hand is we're not tilting the shoulders. We're making sure that the shoulders and the hips are constantly in the same direction facing down towards the ground. I don't want you to be twisting from the shoulders or the hips, so try not to turn as you're lifting the hand off the ground. It's going to put you a little skewed, it's going to be twisting, and that's something we're trying to avoid, all right? We want to make sure that the body is staying nice and flat throughout the entire exercise. All right, guys, last round here, 1 more. Starting position, and here we go. To the right, shift, other side. Good rhythm, again, don't worry about the speed here. And now the touches. One more on each. Very good. Shake the hands out. Great job on that first exercise, guys. We're going to jump right into the second one. Okay guys, on to our second exercise here on day 1, week 1. Before we get into the exercise, I just want to go over a couple of quick tips on setting up and making sure that your positioning for your handstand is correct. All right, this exercise is actually going to be some holds, and each week is going to get a little bit more aggressive with the length of the hold itself. We want to make sure that the position is always intact so you're going to that perfect position every time you kick up. First thing is going to be hand width. All right, we're going to define how far apart our hands should be as shoulder width. All right, shoulder width can kind of mean different things to different people, and we like to have that definition as middle finger to the outside of your shoulder. All right, it's a little bit outside of maybe a closer hands than they might see from maybe a hand balancer or something like that. But from the artistic gymnastics world, it's something that we use pretty consistently, and it's also going to have some good transferability, some other areas that you're going to be hanging and things like that. So we're going to be thinking about shoulder width defined as middle finger to the outside of your shoulder. Next is going to be the direction of your fingertips, all right? Direction of your fingertips, we're going to be thinking about trying to use those fingertips as much as possible because those fingertips are used for the stability aspect of a handstand. If you're turning out too much, you end up disengaging the outside three fingers, which is something we're trying to avoid. So optimal position with those fingertips are going to be facing forward. Again, specifying that definition as middle finger facing at 12 o'clock. If you're a little uncomfortable with that position because you're used to turning out so much, you got to work a little bit more on that wrist flexibility and that wrist strength to be able to handle that position. Next is going to be eye line. Where are we looking? What we're going to be thinking about doing as we learn this is to find a focal point down on the ground. So instead of having the head out and looking in front of your fingertips or looking down and looking behind you, which is very, very difficult to find a balance point, your objective here is going to be trying to look down at the ground at a point that's, again, very specific. So you can all put your hands out in front of you like this and drop your three outside fingers. And right now you should have a rectangle out in front of you. What's going to happen is you can bring those fingertips together, those thumbs, and that point where those thumbs are hitting is where I want your eye line to be when your head is down in the ground. So you will be thinking about trying to get your head close to neutral, but at all times looking at that point that's between your thumbs, all right? If you can have a nice visual contact point down on the ground, it's going to give you the ability to balance much more easily, all right? Now let's get into our scaling options. Our first one is going to be with Sophie here. This is going to be our easiest scaling option. Feet are going to stay on the ground, hands are going to stay fairly close to your feet. And what we're going to be thinking about doing here is creating a nice pike position or a downward dog. Objective here, as always, is going to create a stacked position. Stacked is hips over shoulders over hands. So if Sophie is clearly pretty flexible within this position, most of you guys probably won't be able to do this as well as she's doing it. So if you need to, you can go ahead and bend your knees and take the hamstring flexibility out of the equation. You'll still be able to get that same effectiveness in terms of shoulder strength out of this one. Thanks, Soph. Cat will do our variation number 2 with a little bit of elevation. Feet will go onto an elevated surface. A box in this case, if you're at home doing this in your living room and you have a couch or a chair, that's going to be preferable, all right? Just something that gives you a little bit of elevation, trying to get into a position where your legs are out at horizontal and your torso is at vertical, okay? Again, hips over shoulders over hands, so make sure that those hands are fairly close to the box or the couch so you can stay nice and stacked. Same thing that we were talking about with Sophie. Don't want this to be a hamstring exercise, so if you need to bend your knees, you can go ahead and do it. All right, awesome. Thanks, Kat. Variation number 3 is what I'm going to be kicking up against the wall here. It's just going to be a back-to-wall hold, all right? So when we do this, we want our hands to be fairly close to the wall to help with making sure that we're in, again, that stacked position. So fingertips should be as close to the wall as you can handle, where you can keep everything nice and stacked, where you're not feeling like you're actually getting pushed away from the wall. All of those other pieces are in place the entire time. Fingertips forward, head in line, shoulder width apart with those hands. And the rep scheme here is going to be 30 seconds on, 1 minute off for 5 rounds. All right, you guys handle it? All right, let's give it a try. All right, first 30 seconds, we'll get up in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and up. $15 in. 5, 3, 2, 1, and down. Okay, first round done, guys. Nice and easy. What you'll start to notice if long holds are new for you is that after 30 seconds, you're going to come down and you feel like your eyes are going to bust out of your head because you're not used to breathing, okay? Take the time with these shorter holds in these first couple of weeks to really think about your breath while you're upside down, okay? Nice inhale, nice exhale. Essentially what we're trying to work towards is a breath that's as similar as you are when you're upright as you are when you're upside down, all right? Shake the hands out. Make sure you're ready for this round 2. We got about 20 seconds left before we get going. $15. Okay, 10 seconds. Let's get set up. 5, 3, 2, 1, and up. Halfway. 5, 3, 2, 1, and down. 30 seconds should be a manageable position for you guys. If you're feeling like it's too difficult, you've probably chosen a scaling option that's a little bit out of where your starting point is. So you can maybe step down, take one of version 2 or version 1 if it's a little bit easier to make sure you get that full 30 seconds in place. All right, the other thing I want to make sure you guys are recognizing is what my legs are doing. My legs are involved with the movement, all right? So I won't delve too much into this right now, but what we're trying to do is always try to be considerate of the body as one continuous piece. It's not just your shoulders and your arms involved with a handstand, your entire body is involved with the movement. So we really want to be conscious of making sure that those legs are tight, those toes are pointed, all right? Okay, 10 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1, and up. $15. 5, 3, 2, 1, and down. Looking good, guys. We only got 2 rounds left. Stay strong here, stay with it, stay focused. Keep making sure that you're utilizing this minute rest as much as possible, working out those kinks in the elbows and the shoulders and the wrists to make sure you're as fresh as possible before you kick back up again. All right, kind of get a little bit of mobilization going with those wrists. I like to shake my elbows out. I always feel like a little additional stress is being put on my elbows because what are we trying to do? We're trying to lock out completely, resting as much as possible on that skeletal structure as possible as opposed to trying to use our muscles. As soon as you start to kink that elbow, you're starting to use those muscles as opposed to locking in from that skeletal structure. It's a much weaker position, so really try to make sure you're pushing through the ground, keep the elbows nice and locked out, but you will start feeling a little bit of discomfort in that elbow if it's a new position for you. All right? Okay, guys, so we got a little bit of time. We're on round 4 now, right? Okay, guys, 15 seconds, get back into place. 10 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1, and up. $15. 5, 3, 2, 1, and down. All right, guys, 4 down. We got 1 left. Stay strong here. One of the things we always like to preach is this idea of the last round being our best round. So don't kind of fade. Even don't think you're done yet. We're not done yet. Try to really get after this last round and make it the best one from a positional standpoint. All right. Last thing, I mentioned this briefly, but when you're upside down, you're trying to do this handstand, try to elongate your body. The kind of cue that I always tell people is that imagine your body's like a piece of taffy being pulled to its absolute extreme point. That's what I want you to be thinking about when you're upside down. Hands planted down into the ground, driving strong, making sure those elbows are locked out, and feet elongating up the wall, trying to make sure that you're at your absolute extreme point. All right? That's what we're going to be thinking about. Nice long body position. Almost there, guys. We got 15 seconds left. Okay, back in position. 5, 3, 2, 1, and up. Halfway. 5, 3, 2, 1, and down. Very good job, guys. That's the end of exercise number 2. Now, please be aware that as we start to get a little bit more involved from week to week, the numbers on these are going to go up a little bit. So if 30 seconds was a challenge after 5 rounds, make sure you're in a scaling option that's appropriate, because by the time week 4 comes around, it's going to be no joke, okay? Great job. Let's get ready for exercise 3. Okay guys, last exercise of the day here, it's going to be inchworm holds, okay? You've probably done variations of this before. It's just going to be an extended position where your hands are out in front of you, trying to maintain a nice hollow position. Hands will always be shoulder width apart, defined as it was in exercise 2, middle finger to the outside of your shoulder. Fingertips will be facing forward. Again, we got some scaling options for you here to make sure you're doing it properly, all right? So Soph will show us the first one here. Again, starting from your knees, reaching the hands out as far as you possibly can go, where again you're keeping that nice uniform shape from hands all the way down through knees. We really want to be seeing that nice lower back position as hollow as possible, and you can bring it back up from there. Perfect. Kat will show us version number 2. This one will be from a full plank, so your feet will be down on the ground, but her feet will be straddled. Now reaching out a little bit more. Here, guys, you can reach out as far as you can handle, so don't feel like you need to go out too extreme. Again, look at that nice uniformity that Kat's got from fingertips all the way through toes. A nice rounded position here through her back. That's what we're looking for with our inchworm, with our hollow hold. Awesome, thanks Kat. The last one I'm going to show you here will be version number 3. This one again will be reaching out as far as you possibly can, maintaining that position, but feet will be completely together, giving you that a little bit of increased instability. All right? The rep scheme here is just going to be a 10-second hold. 10-second hold is going to be fairly easy for you. So this is probably an area where you can challenge yourself a little bit in terms of the exercise of the variation that you're going to be using. 10-second hold. The rest is up to you guys. I really don't want you to be too fatigued from rep to rep, so you can take a little additional rest if you need it. But with a 10-second hold, you probably won't need a minute or two to rest. We're probably going to take around a maximum of 30-second rest. But again, if you need a little additional, go ahead and take it. All right, let's get into position here. We'll get ready to go. And 3, 2, 1, let's do it. 3, 2, 1, down. Very good, guys. So we are going to be doing quite a few rounds here. That was the first one of 10, all right? So we're going to be doing 10 rounds. So as I said, if you need some additional rest, more than that 30 seconds, you're welcome to take it. I don't want you to be fatigued too much between rounds here, so take the time that you need. Shake the arms out, guys. Make sure you're prepared from round to round. All right, let's get set up and ready to go for the next one here. Reaching out, really challenge yourself in how far you're going to be reaching. We'll go in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. 3, 2, 1, down. Very good, guys. 2 rounds done. Essentially what you're going to be thinking about doing, what you're going to be feeling is pressing down into the ground with those hands. It's going to help elevate the body into the position that we're going to be working with, all right? The hollow is critical here. It's going to help your handstand considerably if you're able to maintain that position through your core, all right? So I really feel like the hands are pressing down into the ground and then tipping those, that hip tucked under position as we're going to be talking about. All right, we'll start it back up in 5 seconds. Back into position, round 3 here. And up. Challenge yourself here, guys. Reach out as far as you can maintain. 3, 2, 1, down. Already got 3 rounds done, guys. You will recognize that 10 seconds is not a whole lot of time. By the time you get set up, by the time you're ready to come out of it, exercise is already done. So really, this is one of those areas where you can challenge yourself, okay? See how far you can actually get to your limit and really try to push yourself to hold that position, but go a little bit further than you actually think you're capable of handling. All right, we'll give ourselves 10 more seconds and we'll jump into round 4. 5, 3, 2, 1, and go for it. 3, 2, 1, down. Good, guys. 4 rounds done. The surface of the ground is going to kind of either be an asset to you or going to be a detriment depending on how sticky the ground is too. If you're wearing socks, you're going to slip all over the place. It's really going to limit how far you're going to be able to go out. So barefoot is a better way to go in terms of being able to maintain some tackiness. And also a nice yoga mat will also help with that as well. It's going to help you actually get to a position that's actually quite far without having to worry about slipping from your hands or for your feet. Okay, we'll get set up for round number 5. Here we go. We'll go in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and up. 5, 3, 2, 1, down. Halfway done, guys, halfway. The other thing that I hope you're noticing is kind of my head position, all right? One of our universal rules that we try to use in the gymnastics world is neutral head position is kind of our go-to, all right? There will be some variations that we'll see with our handstand in terms of taking our head up a little to be able to keep that eye line in a specific spot. But to help maintain a nice hollow position, what we're going to be thinking about here is ears in line with our shoulders, all right? So whenever you're kind of curious about where your head should be going, just imagine, are my ears up against my shoulder? If they are, you know you're in a good spot, all right? Okay. Round 6, we'll start in 5, 3, 2, 1, and out. 5, 3, 2, 1, down. Looking good, guys. Over the hump. 6 rounds done, only 4 left. Rolling out the shoulders, you'll start to feel it again in your elbows because we got that nice locked out position again. Shoulders as well as the core. If you're really fighting that hollow position, you're going to be feeling it quite a bit in your hip flexors as well as your abdominals. We'll give ourselves a couple additional seconds here. Okay, starting in 10. 5, 3, 2, 1, and reach. 5, 3, 2, 1, down. 3 rounds left. Almost there, guys, almost done. With our last exercise of our day 1. Just like we were talking about with our handstand holds in the previous exercise, we want to be thinking about elongating the body, right? So when you're pressing down into the ground, really try to feel like you're pushing through the ground as opposed to shrugging into your shoulder, all right? It's going to help really kind of create that nice elongated body position that we've been talking about. All right, guys, let's go in about 15 seconds here. All right, let's get it set up into place. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and hold. 5, 3, 2, 1, down. Good, guys. 8 rounds done. 2 left. Don't let the position go to waste now, guys. Just because we're at the end here, stay as focused as you were on the first few rounds. Roll out those elbows. I guarantee you, especially if this is new for you, you're going to be feeling it a lot in that elbow position. something I'll be reiterating quite a bit because it's an area of focus for us. It's a new position for a lot of you guys. If you didn't grow up with gymnastics movements, didn't grow up doing handstands, elbows are going to be kind of the first concern. You're going to be starting to notice a lot of irritation. We want to make sure that we're building the connective tissue around that elbow to be able to withstand a lot of the long holds and a lot of positions that we're going to be asking of you. Okay, guys, we'll start in 10 for round 9. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and reach. 5, 3, 2, 1, down. Very, very good. All right, we got one left. Everything you got on this last round, guys. Doing a great job so far. This will be the last exercise that we got of the day here, so let's make it the best one. All right, we'll start it back up in 15 seconds. As I had mentioned in the beginning, guys, if you need additional rest, go ahead and use it. You can pause the video. You can kind of have your own timer. I always like to have a timer with me at all times. Kind of gives me the ability to make sure that I'm really on top of my time. So use your phone or use a timer to kind of guide yourself, but don't feel like you need to go on the same scheme that we've got. If you need additional rest, go ahead and use it. Here we go, guys. Last one. 3, 2, 1, and go. 5, 3, 2, 1, and down. All right, guys. Very good job. 10 rounds, 10 seconds apiece. It's more of an introduction into a position that you'll be utilizing and actually increasing the time over the next few weeks. So make sure you pick the scaling option that you'll be able to feel like you can get up to a pretty significant hold. Great job. Onto your core workout. Okay, guys, your core exercise for your day 1s here. This is going to be repeated all 4 weeks. This is going to be focusing on your hollow position. So you're going to be thinking more about your core, meaning your abdominals and your hip flexors. We'll work on other aspects of your core later in the week. This is going to be a very simple sequence. You guys are going to be able to scale it as needed. We're just going to be doing 5 rounds where you're doing 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. So it's going to go pretty quickly here. All right. Scaling option number 1. Kat's going to show us what we're going to be doing here. So we're going to be thinking about starting off in a tuck position. So knees into chest, feet and heels together, arms fully extended up overhead. This is going to be just a hold position. So you're going to hold for 20 seconds and then relax for 20 seconds. If you want to up it a notch, you can extend one leg out. And what we'll do is we'll extend one leg out for 10. And then after the 10 seconds, after the halfway mark, we'll switch and do the opposing leg. Awesome. Thank you, Kat. Sophie will show us option number 2 here. It's going to be a 20-second hold in that full extended hollow position. Feet off the ground, shoulders and arms off the ground as well. What we're looking for is uniformity. I want to see a nice curved shape from fingertips to toes where everything is off the ground equally on both sides, all right? I don't want you to be thinking about sitting up really aggressively and your feet only off the ground 1 or 2 inches. Everything is nice and uniform from fingertips to toes. Version 3, which is what I'll do on the ground here, is going to be that same extended position that Sophie showed, except we're going to be doing a rock, all right? So a hollow rock. Most of you guys probably know what that is by now. Arms will be fully extended up overhead. Feet will be pointed, knees and feet together, as elongated and as extended as you can possibly get with that body. All right, guys? All right, as I mentioned, it's going to be 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 5 rounds. This is going to go back pretty quickly. Make sure you choose a scaling option that's appropriate for your starting point. All right, let's give it a try. We'll start in 5, 3, 2, 1, and go. Stay with it. Three, 2, 1, and up. 1 round done. This 20 seconds is going to go by quickly, guys, so make sure you're ready to go and set up right away. We got 10 seconds, getting ready to go into the second round. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and get after it. Halfway. 3, 2, 1, and stop. 2 rounds done. Ten seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Halfway. Three, 2, 1. 3 done, guys. We got 2 rounds left and we're done. Ten seconds. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Round 4. Halfway. 3, 2, 1. Stop. Okay, 4 rounds done. We got 1 left. Ten seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's get after it, guys. Last one. Halfway. And done. Whew. Great work, guys. Core challenge done. Great job, and we'll see you next time.